Hey there guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another best class setup in Modern Warfare video. Now, the Call of Duty Cold War Black Ops beta or the alpha test really did run this weekend. That was for PS4 users only, and I was a little bit disappointed that I couldn't access that. Like, all the gameplay that I saw did look actually quite fun, but we're not talking about any of that here today because I haven't played it, and I'm very sad about that. But anyway, we are here to talk about the Model 680, one of my favorite shotguns in this game. No Dragon's Breath rounds today, just a regular stock buckshot shotgun. Really, really fun to use in this game if you do play in the right areas, the right way, which we'll talk about more in the gameplay. Just before we do get into talking about this best class setup for the Model 680 here, let's try and get this one to 20 likes. If we do get to 20 likes on this video, we will upload the next episode of our best class setups for every single weapon in the game. We are up to the marksman rifles, I do believe, so that should be a fairly interesting episode, so make sure we do get to 20 likes so you can see that one. Also, if you haven't already done so, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on, just so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming videos. Anyway, let's just jump straight into our Model 680 class setup here. We've got some interesting stuff to talk about. Now, as you would expect with this particular shotgun, we only really want to play at close quarters. Like, we don't want to be running around in the open areas of the maps too much. I mean, smoke grenades can cover those longer sight lines, but for the most part, we do want to stay in close quarters areas, like people to walk into us, sort of hold the big choke points in the game where there are close quarters fighting a lot of the time. So we'll start off with our sidearm perks and grenades here. Of course, they are a very important part of this particular class setup. The secondary here isn't super important, though. We got the Akimbo M19s, I believe. Basically, we just want another powerful close range option. This is not too important though, as we'll be using our shotgun most of the time. Monolithic Suppressor, the XRK-V extended barrel, the 5mm laser, the lightweight trigger, and of course the Akimbo perk. Basically, if we do run out of shotgun ammo or something like that, we just want to faster fire it, we pull these out and we blast people away. But for the most part, our shotgun should do a fairly decent job at dealing with close range targets. As for our perks, we are after that EOD for that explosive resistance. Taking reduced damage from explosives in this game, especially on those objective game modes or those close range maps, is really, really important. Ghost for staying off of those UAVs. High alert's also a good option if you are playing on those larger maps with those longer sight lines, because it is very easy to sort of identify when people are aiming at you, and then tracker as well. See those enemy footprints in combination with that dead silence sort of field upgrade is really, really strong combination, especially with shotguns. You want to be able to find out where people are, follow them, and basically get easy kills. Then we do move to the C4 in the lethal slot, of course. Being able to chuck that over a wall or around a corner is really, really powerful here. And then the stim shot in the tactical slot is probably the best option that you can go with most of the time to get that extra chance per life. But of course, the smoke grenade is very, very useful most of the time with a shotgun. Now, as I said, with the attachments here, we're looking to play, we're not looking for super, super long damage range, like we don't have the biggest barrel or sort of the like Marauder, anything like that. Basically, we all want is a tight pellet spread and decent damage range. I think you can get a one-shot kill out to about 20 meters with this if you do aim down sight, which does tighten up our pellet spread, of course, which is very, very powerful. As for our first attachment here, we are looking for that choke. That tighter pellet spread and increase to our damage range is, of course, very, very important. Normally, we would recommend the Forge Tac Marauder, but again, the choke does a really nice job of tightening up that pellet spread and giving a nice amount of damage range here. Then we combine that with the XRK 18-inch Liberator barrel. We've not chosen the Sport barrel as this does decrease our aim down sight speed and movement speed too much to be viable. Like, I think it's a 3 or 4% decrease to our movement speed and like a 4 frame or 3 frame increase to our aim down sight speed, so making it very, very slow to pull these sights up, which is actually very, very important to tighten that pellet spread, as I've said. But we do get damage range at a tighter pellet spread with the Liberator barrel, which is a really, really nice option here, extending out that range, as I said, to about 20 meter one-shot kills. Of course, then we are looking at the 5mm laser. If you do have to hip fire this, you want that hip fire spread to be as small as possible, and the sprint to fire speed is also really, really nice here. Really aggressive style of shotgun class, of course. No stock as usual, aim down sight speed, movement speed again. Recoil control loss is not significant at all. Movement speed a really nice benefit of about 3 to 4%, and then the aim down sight speed is about 2 or 3 frames here, so really, really nice bonuses here. And then lastly, the XRK True Grip Tactical. Of course, recoil control not too significant, but aim down sight speed is really important that you pull up those sights as much as possible. With this shotgun, you can walk around corners with your aim down sight up. If people do get too close, you typically don't need to aim down sight. You'll get one-shot kills anyway with the hip fire. But if you are looking for those longer distance kills, you definitely want to aim down sight to tighten up that pellet spread. Of course, we are going to move into some gameplay here. We'll talk about and show off how to play with this particular shotgun. You just got to move in the right ways. You got to pay attention to where you are and where your enemies are going to be located, and you can do some fantastic work with this particular shotgun. Now, in our gameplays, we are of course always looking for a challenge, but Arklov Peak is definitely going to present one to us that is fairly unique. Like, there's no serious sort of big close range areas in this particular map. Like, most of the time you are pretty much just out in the open trying to do your best to survive, but it's pretty important that we get into these close quarter situations on this particular map, because this is of course a shotgun, and being outside of those distances where we can actually do our damage is, of course, very, very bad. Like, we do not want to just be caught out in the open. So we have to be nice and close to the walls here. We want to try and get towards the middle building. For the most part, you do want to be aiming down sight a lot with this particular weapon. It does tighten up that pellet spread, as we did mention before. This is the first game of Call of Duty I've played in a little while. I think I last played on Friday. So this gameplay is probably not going to be super great, but it's very, very important that we do get as close as possible to most of our targets to maximize the damage that we can actually do. As I mentioned in the sort of class setup bit of this particular video, most of the time you can get a 20-meter one-shot kill if you are playing sort of like that. I mean, that was of course not a long shot by any stretch of the imagination, but we still got the kill from fairly far away, so... But that distance is not possible to get a kill there, like that's way too far. They are spawning back here though, so we do have to push this way if we want to do anything in it with this game. So I'm going to play in and out of this particular spot here, but again, more boys makes it more difficult. Like if they are aiming at us over there, it does make it very, very difficult for us to actually do anything. See, that's a 13-meter kill. That's a nice little one-shot kill. There's going to be a guy coming through the middle there. Basically, most of the time, you want to be spending your time aiming down sight. Like, it's just good. You don't have to do it all the time, of course. Most of the time, you would be fine just by, like, getting a decent hip-fire kill, especially at this sort of distances. Inside these buildings and stuff, it's not super important to sort of aim down sight, but at distances that are a little bit further away, of course, you do want to tighten up that pellet spread as much as possible. But as I'm talking about here, we just want to try and get as close to these walls and stuff like that and have people walk into our sights. Because, of course, we don't have any sort of damage range. Like, we're basically just playing around this corner here, waiting for people to walk into us. Which can be a little bit frustrating. A lot of people don't really like shotguns because you can only play in certain ways, but that sort of presents a unique challenge to me. And that's kind of what I do actually like playing with shotguns, because they're always interesting. They're always sort of a bit different. I'm going to try and push up here. Nice little two-tap there. Nah, I'm very unlikely to get a kill at that sort of distance, so we've got to pay a little bit more attention to where we are fighting at. Let's try and go back this way. Let's try and go back around to the corner wall thing. We can just sort of jitter peek around the wall just very, very nicely here. Just at these sort of ranges here. Do you play inside or do you play outside? Wait for him to peek back up, because he definitely will. Ooh, okay. Let's go across this way. We'll try and get back behind the building. But man, all you are really after here is just getting in those sort of the one-shot kill distances and pulling up those sights nice and quickly and doing a decent amount of work. Like, simple as that for the most part. Let's try and push over this way. Hit the riverbed, but he's dead, so I know where all the enemies are at. They probably flipped the spawns again, so we want to come back through the middle again. Just holding nice and close to these walls here. That's pretty much all you have to do for the most part. Like, you can get 2-shot kills at those sort of distances as long as you are hitting. As long as you are hitting some of those pellets, like for the most part, you'll get those 1 to 2-shot kills. If we play here and wait for this guy to come to us, hopefully we will. Nah, let's push up. Let's go for it. Let's go for it. We can't just wait around all day. We got to do something. Let's get around. Let's go for it. Got that dead silence. Should not be able to be heard. Couple of easy kills in behind here. We'll keep going on our streak. We're not going to stop. Keep sending it. Keep sending it, boys. We got that dead silence. They can't hear us. Boop. Call in that support helo. And we're literally just going to wait for him to come to us here. Ooh. I changed my mind. Let's just send that there. I mean, we died there, but we're going to win this game very, very handily. So, what would we do? 11 kills on a map like this, 12 kills is pretty interesting. Like, it's not very easy to get, like, decent amount of kills on these maps, especially on TDM, where the spawns flip all the time, but we'll have our final thoughts on this particular shotgun in just a second here. Now, as I was saying in the gameplay there, you do want to play in very specific ways. Like, you want to be around walls and around corners and have people walk into you most of the time, but as you saw, you can actually make it work on those longer distances. Like, sometimes you do need a smoke grenade to close off those longer lines of sight to allow you to move around the map and stuff like that, and it can be even easier if other people are using smoke grenades and you don't have to, so just keep in mind that you do have to aim down sight a lot with this particular shotgun to make the most of it. Like getting those one-shot kills at sort of 20 meters is only possible with that aim down sight, so tightening up that pellet spread is very, very important here. But for the most part, all we are looking for is just great damage at sort of between that 0 and 20 meter mark, and this is exactly what we get with this particular shotgun. It's very, very fun to use, of course, and if you haven't tried this class setup before, make sure you do go check it out here. Did a decent amount of work in that gameplay. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching this one. I do appreciate it. Of course, if you haven't already done so, make sure you do hit that subscribe button with those notifications turned on. Become part of our 3,000 subscriber gang. A lot of cool stuff coming up very, very soon. Still a little bit disappointed that we didn't get to play in the Cold War alpha test, but I mean, it is what it is. Let's keep going here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!